That's Nick.
And that's Joseph, and today we're here to talk about Lake of Death, which is available to stream on Shudder as of July 16th, 2020. It is the third film directed by Nini Bull Robsahm.
I like that name.
Yeah. It's a lovely name for a Norwegian lady. And it is a remake of the 1958 Norwegian classic Lake of the Dead, which is regarded as one of Norway's finest pieces of cinema and as also kind of the turning point for an interest in genre in that country. And it is based on a popular 1942 novel.
Okay, I'm going to try to explain the plot.
Well, I've been taught about very condensed plots, and as we've discussed before, you know, it's hard for me to spoil things. I like to dance around that. So yes. Mm-hmm.
So 5 people go to this house on a lake somewhere in Norway.
A cabin in the woods, if you will.
Cabin in the woods. They're greeted by an older gentleman who's familiar with one of the women, main person.
And older as in like 40s.
Like my age, but the 5 people are like in their 20s. Mm-hmm. But the main girl, her name is Lillian. Mm-hmm. Okay. Before they arrive at the lake, a year prior, we flash back to Lillian in a boat on that same lake with a man who is her brother. Mm-hmm. And they're having a discussion saying like, I have to go off with this person, but we'll always be together, something like that. So flash forward a year, now they're at the lake, they all arrive. It's sort of a somber mood because Lillian seems affected, like she's not happy she's there.
And the other clan members are whispering, is she okay?
Right, they're like, one of them says like, well, they ask her like, is she okay, or are you okay? And one says like, I just got my degree in psychology, so if you need to talk, let me know. But they make their way to the cabin. Immediately I felt like they make an odd group, like they don't seem particularly friendly with one another, and Lillian seems to be like the black sheep, like she has some mental health issues, because they say like she might have another episode. Yeah. The reason they're there, or it's their last visit, is because we're made aware that the house is being sold. Mm-hmm. So this is their last chance. Maybe that's why they all decided to go. It's not quite clear to me what their relationship is either.
Yeah, it's almost, they are so loosely tossed in there. It's almost like in House on Haunted Hill, where it's like they won a lottery to be invited to stay a night in a haunted house.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Immediately we see that things are kind of weird. Like Lillian, you know, she sleepwalks. She sees a few, like, she has like hallucinations. It all revolves around black water. Like, there's black water running from the sink. She sees some of the people covered in black water.
It's very Mary Jo Kopechne. Yeah.
One of the gentlemen, his name is the one who's in the lake who drowns.
Jacob.
That's not Jacob.
Oh, Harold.
Harold.
Yeah.
So one of the characters, Harold, he and his girlfriend are in the lake, and it's in the trailer. Like, the only kind of, like, scary part I thought was they're in the water, and he feels something on his legs. He tells his girlfriend, like, stop playing. I'm not playing. Something drags him down. He's retrieved from the lake by his girlfriend, which I thought was a ridiculous scene because he appears to be unconscious as if he's drowned. And his girlfriend drags him all the way from the lake to the house.
Yes, which isn't that, it's not like they're right on the shore.
No, so. Drags him all the way to the house. He's unconscious. She's screaming for help. They resuscitate him. He spits up water and he's fine. Mm-hmm. More weird things continue to happen. Lillian sleepwalks more. They decide that because she's acting so weird, they have to kind of keep like a 24-hour watch on her. So while they're doing that, Harold, we see him get dragged down into the basement. Mm-hmm. So he's missing. They realize he's missing. The 2 other gentlemen, Jakob and Bernhard.
No, Jacob is the dead brother.
Fuck.
We didn't mention that Bernhard runs a successful podcast or whatever, and is there to talk about the urban legends about the lake, so that's why he's there.
Yes.
Anyway, Gabriel is Lillian's ex.
Gabriel. Mm-hmm. So Bernhard is the podcast guy who's there doing research, so that explains why he's there. Gabriel is Lillian's ex, a dark-haired gentleman. Bernhard and Gabriel go out to try to find Harold, who's missing. And while they're out looking, they see the car of the older gentleman,
Kai,
whose name is Kai. They find his car has been wrecked, like hit a tree, and inside the car are all of their cell phones. So obviously something's not right. Bernhard sees blood in the car and also sees blood on Gabriel's sleeve and gets scared, thinking that maybe Gabriel's up to no good. So he excuses himself to go back to the house to like escape. While he's running back to the house, Lillian and the other girl are out looking for Harald. Sonja. Lillian and Sonja go out to find Harald, and they find him, and he's dead. They're freaked out. They run back to the house. Another bullshit jump scare because the house door is open, but it's just Bernhard, and they're waiting for them. They're in there panicking, sharing the information they find. Gabriel returns. Lillian locks him in a room, and while he's in the room, Lillian's, who we think dead brother, because it is explained once all of them are at the cabin that her brother went missing and they never found him. So we presume he's dead, but he's not. He's apparently been living in the basement. He kills Gabriel in the room. So Jakob takes his sister Lillian to the lake, ties her up. He has like some heavy bags or rocks in the boat, so I'm assuming he was going to like place her at the bottom of the lake and drown her, like, because we find out in the very opening scene when they're on the boat, what they don't show is Jakob and Lillian appear to have like an incestuous relationship.
Or a codependent, symbiotic, toxic relationship. Yeah.
Yes,
they were
that's a better way to describe it.
They were foster children, and at one point she
gets taken in by a family, but he doesn't.
Well, and she also makes it seem like it was her choice to do that, to abandon her brother, and she, however that happened, was able to go be reunited with her brother, and he wouldn't speak from that moment forward.
Well, the final scene is her tied up in the boat, and Jakob is going to like dump her at the bottom of the lake. She has access to a knife. She sort of like she's tied up, but she like jumps out of the boat. When he dives in to get her, she stabs him. The end. Okay.
Let's talk about what we like.
What we like? I think the film looks really good.
Okay, so
the underwater scene, go ahead.
It was shot on 35mm, which is, I think, why it has that very pronounced classic look to it. And it was edited by Bob Murawski, the Oscar winner who has edited a few Sam Raimi films, including Drag Me to Hell and The Hurt Locker. So, the strongest thing about the film is its visual
It looks
aesthetic.
great. The underwater scenes look really good. There's a scene when Lillian is running onto the dock at the lake that I thought was, I think the most beautiful thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
that could have been a piece of art. So it looks great. The acting is just fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of common tropes with people joking about choking when they shouldn't be, and ha ha ha. But everybody's performance is fine. Lillian, played by Iben Akerlie, she reminded me a little bit of Jennifer Lawrence in some sequences. And the other one,
just her appearance.
Just her appearance, but her performance is fine. Unfortunately, she was tied down with a lot of cliches. There's also a dog named Totto that we forgot to mention that has a kind of creepy moment happen with him.
Well, he gets tied up.
Yeah.
Like, they're out.
Yeah.
And that's when they know, well, okay, are we done with the things we like?
Sure.
So, I just really didn't like the story. There are a lot of, you said red herrings.
Oh, yes.
This film is taking us in every direction. Like, is there some kind of killer out in the woods?
Well,
Are they being stalked? Is there a supernatural element? She's clearly hallucinating, but it's straddling that line of like, is there really something infecting? From the trailer, you would think that there's something like in the water infecting everyone.
Well, yes.
But there isn't.
Yeah, we're unclear if there's a supernatural element. Even Harald, after his near drowning experience, has something that suggests that is clearly a red herring.
Because Lillian is the focus of like the hallucination. She's the one who we're saying has episodes. She's sleepwalking. But then, Harald has an episode where he sees something weird in his eyes. So it's like...
Those are just classic red herrings meant to keep us on our feet. And then there's a lot of diegetic film references. Like, they bring up Evil Dead and Misery and Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's almost like in Basic Instinct when Sharon Stone's character's like, I wrote a book about killing a man with an ice pick. Would I really still kill a man with an ice pick? It's daring us to even compare it to those things. But this is very Evil Dead. It's very even Friday the 13th.
Only in that it's like these people are in a cabin and they're on a lake.
Well, a dead relative that drowned there that's still in the vicinity that's killing
But
people.
it is not fun.
No.
It's not thrilling.
No.
It's not campy.
There,
It's a very serious film. And I even said, like, for something being shot on a lake with a lot of underwater scenes, this film is so damn dry.
yes.
Like, it just...
Somebody, I think it's the Bernhard character brings up Stendhal syndrome, where it's like you suffer hallucinations or become obsessed after seeing a piece of art, which I almost think you could, based on what the classic this film is based on, maybe this film is a response on being obsessed with that classic Norwegian film,
Okay.
which I find interesting that they brought that up. There's a very bizarre issue with blocking in the film. Because there are two scenes where Lillian is right there, and then they're like, "Is she okay?" Like, oh
yes, literally, it's like if Nick is right here and I have friends over here, and I'm like, "Oh, is Nick like he's being so weird?" And like literally right here, and she like takes one step and is in the midst.
There's one really, I was laughing because she's like looking out the window and they're chattering about what they have to do, and all she does is turn around and somebody goes, "Here she comes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not recommend this film.
And really, I haven't seen the original. It really made me want to see it.
Well, I mean,
because the elements are there. You can see how this was a popular thing in the 40s or 50s. Like Bergman's Hour of the Wolf is a horror film. And
because the entire gag is the brother's not dead. This brother the brother who we realize has been missing for a year. He's not dead. He's been living at this house. So it's like, I felt like him stalking everyone in the house, playing these tricks, should have been way more pronounced.
Right. But I don't know if there was somebody trying to be, or some level of ambiguity about it, because our interpretations were a little different after it ended. Because...
Well, you know me, I don't pay 100% attention. So I think once you explain to me... it's not as ambiguous as I originally thought it was. It makes sense to me that the brother was in the basement. He wasn't dead.
I think he's alive, but there is throughout, my mind was so strongly going to maybe the brother is her. Maybe she's maybe it's like Sleepaway Camp where she...
That would have been more interesting. I understand if it's based on, their source material, then, they're not going to switch it up. But...
Very loosely. Like, she obviously changed a lot.
I think... I don't know. This film could have been so much better to me. So, I don't want to go into all the ways I would have liked it more.
Right.
But what would you give this film?
Based on, it's very lovely to look at. And I mean the film, not the actors per se. So 2 out of 5, I think, just for that. But
I would give it 1.5 out of 5, and all of that is for the look of the film.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.